back with another video on the Civic. Today's video is going to be a complete detailed price breakdown of what it cost me to turbo this D16 Y7 engine. Now, one thing I hate is when guys do these videos and they call it a budget build, which it is, but they got all their parts used. Well, that's a huge variable. I mean, that could change tremendously. So every part I have on here except for one, which is the Y8 intake manifold, is new, brand new off of eBay or Amazon. So you guys should be able to follow this list and it be the exact same price in the end, as long as no prices changed on Amazon or eBay, which I doubt they really did. So every part is new. Now I do have like kind of categories. I've got everything you have to have. I've got some things that I recommend having, and I've got some extra things that weren't necessary but I wanted to do while I was doing all of this. I've got a detailed walkthrough of everything I did to the car with video supporting it on one of the last clips. I've got me showing turboing it in 10 minutes. You know, those videos people do, building my car in 10 minutes, and it's a clip of all the videos they did. I've got that. Plus, I've got a detailed video of every single thing I did, like a video of me putting the turbo on, a video of me putting the intake manifold, step by step of everything I did. If you guys go back into my channel, you can follow along. So I've got my list here. Sorry, there's no way I was going to memorize this. I wanted to, but it wasn't worth it because you guys really probably don't give a crap. While we're sitting here, if you can do me a favor, scroll down, hit the like button. I don't care if you subscribe, I don't care if you comment, just hit that like button so that this video can get out there more to help more people do this, and who am I kidding, to help me get traction. So I'm going to start with, if you've got a D16 Y7, I kind of recommend putting a Y8 intake manifold on there. Reason being because it's a little bit better flow. You don't have that 90, on a Y7, the throttle body is pointing upward. So you don't have that, if you go Y8, you don't have that 90-degree bend going into your intercooler piping. Also, I think it just looks better. So this is what it costs to do the Y8 intake manifold. And like I said, I got that off of eBay. You can go to a junkyard and probably get it cheaper for what I paid on eBay. The intake manifold itself from eBay, I got for $105. Plain and simple, good to go. I also needed a intake manifold gasket, which I don't even think I've got that on here. But that I think was like 30 bucks. So throttle cable, which this was unnecessary because I ended up buying the same Y7 throttle cable. They said it was Y8, but it wasn't. 20 bucks. And then throttle cable bracket, 25 bucks. So that is the intake manifold itself, which is not really necessary, was 150 bucks. All right, let's go ahead and move to the turbo itself. Radiator fan, I needed a more slim radiator fan to fit the top mount turbo, $25, $24.99. Intercooler kit was $148. I think that was all, most of this stuff is all from eBay. The downpipe was $50, which I'm pretty sure all that was a flange, and then it was like, it could have been an up pipe right out of the hood, all stainless that you weld yourself. That was $49.99. Now I do have a full exhaust on here. I'm not including that in this pricing. That's I'll talk about that here in a bit. The oil filter sandwich plate for your oil feed line was $32.99. Turbo manifold top mount was $180. I went with a Rev 9 wastegate dump, which was just a flange and a tube. Actually, it was welded. It was all welded that you just put on there and it went down. I did have to modify that. I cut it, turned it, re-welded it. $38.99. The Rev 9 wastegate itself was $109. Oil feed and drain line kit, $39.99. Gasket, $5.87. Boost gauge, I think you need this for your build, $48.99. Mine was a glow shift, so I went cheap on that. Wideband, $200. I went with glow shift. You can spend a lot more going AEM, which my glow shift doesn't work, so I would go AEM for sure. Gauge pod, $29.87. Your bungs for your O2 sensors was $12.95. More gaskets, $21.29. And turbo, $83.60. Very cheap. Max Speeding Rods turbo, works fantastic. I've got gaskets on there a couple times because you're probably going to need more than one gasket as long as you're going to do it right and not reuse them while you're working with your whole setup. So everything that I think you really need for this came out to be $1,026.50. That's pretty cheap to completely turbo your Honda. Now, I do not have a tune on this. I do not have a aftermarket ECU, so if you're doing this the 100% correct way, you could call it, you're going to have extra money for that. I would say you're looking at another $1,000, maybe $800, $600, depending on who you have tune it. So look at that as another expense. The way I did it was I put an FMU on it, a fuel management unit, which I've got videos talking about that. You can go look at that. I'm not going to go into that now because that's a whole nother ball game. But the FMU cost $154. So I guess you could say that everything I needed to do this build was 150 was like $1,200. So now let's move on to the exhaust. So I did a complete full exhaust. I fit it all up. I had my buddy weld it. So fab cost, free, time. I bought an exhaust piping kit off of eBay, $201.31. Exhaust clamp and tape that I had to have for the back, $25.59. Exhaust gaskets, $21.21. So the full exhaust, $254.11. All right, now let's move to some stuff that really is not necessary whatsoever. I put a different gauge cluster in my car because this car did not come with a tack. So I wanted to tack. This price could vary too because I did get this used off of eBay. I paid $70 for the gauge cluster. And then another thing, I put a turbo blanket on here, unnecessary, $19.86. Another thing I did is I did not leave the turbo open. I put a air intake, like an air filter on here. I had some leftover piping for it. So the air filter itself cost $22.09, and then the 90-degree boot cost $14.93. So that is everything. So the complete and final price that I have in this car, turboing this exactly how I did it, was, you guys can already see it, $1,711.48. That, in my opinion, is extremely cheap. for turboing the car and it running reliably. Now, I do have that FMU. People don't think it's reliable. Some people think it's good enough, reliable. I am only running about 7 pounds of boost according to my boost gauge. I'm controlling that by wastegate springs. That's it. I don't have a boost controller because I don't need more boost. I think that's plenty to run it reliable. It pulls good. It is a noticeable difference in horsepower. It's still very low horsepower, but going from non-turbo to turbo, you definitely notice a difference. One thing I think I forgot, I did buy a muffler from Hybrid Racing. I want to say I paid like 40 bucks for that. So the car does sound pretty good in my opinion for being a Honda Civic. But guys, this is basically the cheapest way that I could find to turbo your Honda Civic with all brand new parts and not going balls to the wall. You're literally bare minimum, cheapest possible with all new parts. And for $1,700, I am extremely, extremely happy with it. And I personally think that it is very reliable. Now, keep in mind, like I said, a big factor in your price is your ECU. I left mine stock. I went with $150, whatever it was, FMU. That is, I mean, you're basically cutting $800 roughly in cost right there. You might think it's dumb, a lot of people do, but I have no issue with it. I'm not running a blow-off valve. I don't think you need one with this little of boost because it's only 7 pounds of boost that it's not going to tear your turbo up in my opinion. Now this is a top mount turbo. Bottom mount, you might be able to shave a little bit of pricing off. I mean, all that consists of is little less time because they make more things set up for that. But yeah, so I hope I was able to, I know a lot of you wanted to know the cost of this. I hope I was able to kind of open up some of your guys' eyes to what you can turbo your car for, because a lot of you are like me. You're building cars is a pipe dream for you and you really can't afford it. So I think this is a perfect entry level way to get into your cars, to learn about turbo and just to have fun. So hope I was able to help you guys, and I am going to be doing a oil catch can on this here in the very near future. So if you guys are interested in that, stay tuned. I have been racking my brain trying to figure out the best way to run your lines, and I think I have found the most common and best way to do it. So I'll show you guys that. PCV delete, little hint for you. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.